Hey everyone who's still here at all in this really weird dead channel. So this video is long overdue, and by long overdue I mean 6 years overdue, as that's when I last stopped posting videos to this channel and deleted everything I did. So I think I owe you all an explanation, especially as I'm now a 23-year-old instead of a 17-year-old, have matured a lot, and I'm no longer consumed with weird feelings every time I think about the channel and what I used to be. And basically to tell you guys what happened that led me to stop doing ASMR videos and to delete everything, and moreover to talk about the point that my life is at now, where life has led me to 6 years on. If any of you are actually interested in my life beyond what I used to do on YouTube, just to give you all a kind of life update and to reassure you all that I'm still alive and still just working on different things, I suppose. So to anyone who is watching this video at all, I am extremely grateful, because if you are watching this video even 6 whole years after I posted my last video, then that shows that you haven't forgotten me, or at the very least actually care about where I am now, and I really do appreciate that. So in order to talk about what went wrong for me and my channel, I think it's best to talk about the motivation that led me to start my channel in the first place. When I started my channel, it was really about me getting to be creative and express myself in a lot of different ways. It was about me finding an audience who would appreciate my work and the vivid imagination that I had that I couldn't really use that much at school, and just finding that community of people who would, I suppose, value me as a person, as I really felt quite lost in the world that didn't seem to value anything that I was passionate about or that I wanted to bring to the table, which was basically to show people the magical and the spiritual and the imaginative and the fantasy kind of sides of life, and to really be able to help people to escape into a different world. I wasn't interested in the practicalities of life or mental kind of acrobatics and pursuits and anything like that. It was, for me, it was all about the imagination and escaping, and I just wanted to let people into my mind, I suppose. Also, I said that I did feel lost in the world, and I definitely didn't have that many friends. I just had a really small group of close friends, but those friends were not going to the school I was at the time, or sixth form college, so I really felt very alone and isolated, and like no one really understood me. And honestly, when I first started this channel, it was great for that for a while. I felt validated and appreciated by the world at large in a way that I had never felt before. I suppose the problem was that I was quite young and I'd never done anything like this before, and I didn't really know quite what I was signing up to. I just knew that I wanted to do something with YouTube, and so I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And the problem was really when I started to feel appreciated in ways that I hadn't actually signed up to feel appreciated for. For instance, I would often receive quite sexual comments, and while I have nothing against those who work in any kind of sexual industry or who present themselves in that way and who sign up for that kind of attention, I have nothing against those people at all. And moreover, I don't even think I have anything against the people who enjoy that kind of content and who sign up to watch that kind of thing. But what I did have a problem with was the people who would openly profess to me that that was how they were interpreting my content, which wasn't intended to be interpreted in that way at all, but it felt like it was going to be interpreted that way regardless, just because I was a girl, I suppose, who wasn't unattractive, and there are lots of creeps on the internet. It was just something that I couldn't help, and it felt like people were always going to interpret it sexually, and it really felt like sometimes all of my work was just being reduced to my physical attributes, I suppose, and just the sensual side of my personality rather than anything else that I was actually putting into my channel. And this did make me kind of uncomfortable, especially since at the time I was technically still an underage girl. And I want to clarify that whilst I have no issue at all with anyone who has an ASMR channel or who enjoys ASMR at all, because I myself do, it did bother me that without my consent or intention my face would always be linked to something that could be inappropriate for some people, I guess. Even without my intent being to elicit that kind of response, it was going to happen, and it was out of my control. And that is the problem with doing ASMR videos. in a sense, I suppose, no matter what, especially as a woman or as a female or a girl, because while it isn't a sexual medium of expressing yourself, it isn't a sexual art form, it definitely is a sensual art form, almost like giving a massage to someone through video form, through audio and visual form. And for me personally, I suppose it became a little too similar in my mind to me being someone who was potentially through video format giving some kind of massage to like perverted old men that I had never met before potentially. And the more I reflected on that, the more it kind of creeped me out, especially at the age that I was at, and the fact that moreover the men who would leave these comments really didn't care what age I was. And what made it even worse was the fact that somebody, from knowing my first and my last name but nothing else about me, just my first and my last name, was able to trace the address that I was living at with my parents who didn't know that I had this ASMR channel, because it's not something that you would tell them when it has these kind of sensual undertones, I guess. And they sent me fan mail and gifts to that address. Now obviously it was really naive of me to name my channel initially my actual real name, my first and last name. I'm not going to deny that, that was very naive of me. But it still was an experience that shook me, that somebody who I didn't know, a grown man, literally now knew where I lived, they'd traced my address and gone to that trouble and that effort to find me and send me things. If they could do that, who knows what else they could do to me. So obviously it creeped me out a bit, and it was even worse because through that my mum found out about my channel, and she was understandably very concerned about what I might be doing on the internet without her knowing, that would lead to these grown men sending me things in the mail. So after all of this had happened, I felt so shocked by the whole thing, as well as just kind of embarrassed and ashamed because of my mum knowing as well, which I had never intended to happen. And it just got to the point where I felt like I might be being appreciated more for my looks, my age and my gender, rather than the creative expression of what I was bringing to the table, or my intelligence, my personality, as cliche as that might sound. As well as over time just genuinely feeling quite scared for my safety that somebody had discovered where I lived, obviously. So as you can imagine, these are essentially the emotions that led me to delete everything that was on my channel and to never post again until right now, I guess, because I really just felt so overwhelmed by my own stupidity and naivety, and I kind of blamed everything on myself. I just felt so full of shame that this had ever happened, that I had led this to happen, so much so that I wanted to pretend that my channel had never existed, to the extent of literally deleting hours of hard work and my time and effort just to make sure that all of the evidence was gone and that nobody could ever find me in that way again. And this is an attitude that I literally carried with me for these 6 years until, well, literally last week, when I finally built up the courage to tell my partner about it, and because he didn't judge me for it. Sorry guys, my camera just died in the middle of filming, in the middle of what I was saying, so I'm not really sure what I was saying, but basically it's through me talking to my partner that I finally had the courage to really think about this channel and what it was to me and what it was to a lot of other people as well. And I came to the conclusion that I really should make this video, because obviously there were, I mean, probably even the majority of people who are watching me were watching me for the right reasons and weren't misinterpreting what I was putting out there, and who genuinely found peace from my videos. Like, you guys, I think, definitely deserve an explanation for my sudden disappearance, and no doubt that sudden comfort that you might have had from my existence and my videos, I guess, suddenly being stripped away from you. That can't have been nice. So I figured I should really make this video and kind of, I guess, maybe apologise, even if it's really late. It's still probably better late than never. But I also wanted to talk to you guys about what I have been doing since I stopped doing ASMR, in case any of you care. There are a number of different projects that kept me occupied in these 6 years. One of them is that I started up my own artist business where I sculpt figurines for people and make jewellery and stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description below of my website there. Basically the business is called ALEXIA ASMRTIST, or The Adenarium, so you can look that up on any social media you want pretty much and see if you can find my page there and give me a follow if you're interested in seeing some of the things that I create with my hands. And the other thing that I started doing more recently, because Obviously the whole concept of being on YouTube for anything, for any reason, was really out of my comfort zone for a few years, but for the last 3 months since we've obviously been in lockdown, I did start another YouTube channel, not for ASMR, but to talk about my spiritual path and my spiritual musings, I guess. My spiritual path being kind of an eclectic mixture of paganism, Wicca, just nature-based spirituality like that. And on my channel I also talk about astrology, tarot, divination, stuff like that, which I'm aware definitely isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I thought I'd just put that out there. If you do want to see more videos from me, if you want to see more of my face and my voice and my personality, even if it's not through ASMR videos, then you can feel free to subscribe to that channel and see me talking about that kind of stuff if you want. So that new channel that I just very recently started is called ALEXIA's Mystic Musings. So really what I wanted to say is that in both of these new projects that I've started up, it's really freed me up to be as creative as I want to be, and I get to show a lot of my character and a lot of my artistic flair, and just showing people my inner world, the inner fantasy world that I create, which I am really passionate about, obviously. So as for the question that some of you may have, which is, will I ever be doing ASMR videos again in the future? The answer to that is, I'm not 100% sure if I will or if I won't. Obviously I do feel a lot more comfortable with it again after all of these years, and after talking about it with my partner, after kind of keeping it all locked away inside. It is generally something that I would consider more now that obviously I'm older and more experienced, and feel more comfortable with the fact that I will inevitably get sexualized no matter what I do as a female. And obviously I do remember how much I enjoyed that, again, creative outlet, creative expression that ASMR brought to me, as well as the knowledge that I was making a positive difference in the world and calming people down and helping them to sleep and find peace in their lives. So I'm definitely not 100% closing the door on it. It's not like I'm never gonna do this again, never again, or anything like that. I'm starting to become more open to the idea, but at the same time I am very much busy with the new projects that I already told you about, and it would take a lot of time and effort to do ASMR again, as well as I guess just a lot of courage to get back into it after all these years. So whilst I'm not completely shutting the door on it, I don't want any of you to get your hopes up too much either. But if I do any future things relating to ASMR or anything relaxing of that nature, I will definitely be announcing it on some of my pages, probably on my Instagram page for ALEXIA's Mystic Musings. I'll be putting anything I do on YouTube from now on through there, even if it is ASMR. So I would definitely recommend that you guys follow me on my various social medias if you are interested in my journey and wherever that may take me next. And if you just, as I said, want to see more of my face, more of my voice after so many years of having absolutely nothing. As I said, thank you so much to anyone who has actually watched this video of me after so many years, especially if you got to this point in the video of all of my rambling. I really appreciate it, and yeah, I would appreciate any thoughts or comments that you guys have about what I'm talking about, or just what you think about this. I'm open to hearing advice and suggestions from you guys of where I should go next, where I should take this channel next, if I take it anywhere. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I really do care about you, and I really am sorry that I just completely disappeared off the grid for so long. Hopefully now that you've watched this video you can understand a bit more why I did that, and I'm just sorry that there was no way for you to know until I made this video literally 6 years later. But thank you so much for watching, and stay safe, of course, with all of the COVID stuff going on, guys. Take care, and thank you all once again.